so I'm here today with our featured designer for the next Skill Builder box. And our knitting technique that we're going to be featuring for this box is beaded knitting. So, can you give me a little introduction? Tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, and what you're about.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. So my name is Galina Zapletnuka. I'm an indie designer from Latvia. I don't know how many of you have been to Latvia. It's one of the three Baltic countries,
Hmm.
Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. But I have a Ukrainian name to make things even more complex.
Of course.
So I have a lot of family who come from Ukraine, but I was born in Latvia and I live here. My patterns, I haven't published a lot of patterns yet, and they're all accessories knit in garter stitch, and they're all sideways knits. So the challenge for me is to get to kind of to make things that are knit in the round to knit them sideways.
Right, to
So they often
change the
involve
perspective. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes. So they often involve short rows to do that, to add that 3D
yeah.
modeling element
Very
and the
cool.
challenge. Okay, so
Yeah, do you want to tell me about how long you've been knitting and how you learned to knit?
um, I learned to knit at school. I think knitting was part of our curriculum, knitting and sewing, and maybe not other craft, maybe embroidery as well. But it was also from a lot of people around me because in the 1980s, most women knit.
Hmm.
And so I could help from my mother, my grandmother, or the next door neighbors.
Right. Anytime you had a
So
problem, there was somebody to go to.
yeah, and I
That's
do remember, I actually don't remember having conversations about knitting with my mother, but more with my neighbors.
oh yeah,
That's the reason.
nice. That's kind of
Um,
in the community. Yeah.
Yeah, and we did more sewing, and
Okay.
people would come visit each other and discuss the patterns and the fabrics, and yeah, there
Nice.
was a lot of dressmaking going on at the time.
Cool.
Something that I miss today, actually. My first knitting project was mittens,
Okay.
which is strange because I think I never made mittens afterwards until I became a designer.
Yeah.
Um, but I do remember, I kind of remember everything I have knit. I haven't knit maybe that much. I don't know. I don't have a good memory, but when it comes to the projects that I've made, I have, yeah, I usually remember those.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
okay, I'm getting
so
off track.
so when did you transition from, you have a childhood knitting, did you continue knitting throughout your adulthood or did you leave it and then go back to it?
Yeah, so I learned knitting at the age of 12, 13.
Mm.
And then I would knit. I think I knit through my teenage years and my when I was in my 20s, and I think I actually made most of my clothes at the
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
soon
that
as
makes
I
sense.
learned how to make clothes, I
Yeah.
yeah, that was the I don't know, there was a door of liberation for me.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, to not have
Yeah,
to
because there
rely
was
on finding things that fit or that are your taste. You can just make whatever you want.
it was also because I was growing up in the Soviet Union and we didn't really
Hmm.
have that much choice in the shops.
For sure.
So it was, but there were a lot of fabrics available.
Hmm.
Yarn, not so much, but was also quite cheap. So
Hmm.
materials were cheap, and with a bit of creativity, you could actually stand out and
Nice.
look different. So it
Yeah,
was fantastic.
that
So
makes
the transition to design is was that
yeah.
the question?
Yes.
So I never actually planned to become a designer. Although I've always it's been a very important part of my life,
Hmm.
but I've had two different careers before before I started publishing patterns. My first career is teaching English as a foreign language,
Okay.
and my second career is software development. That was very short. So something completely different.
Yeah.
And then I've also done a bit, I mean, I've worked a little bit as a seamstress as well, but that
Okay.
wasn't much of a career either.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a third, but a very important and a very happy.
Next step for you. Yeah.
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 Um, so um,
Yeah. So what inspired you to from going from just knitting things for yourself to creating patterns for sale that you were providing for other people? What sparked that transition?
it was actually beaded knitting
Okay.
that was the starting point for publishing patterns. I um, I was really, I don't know, the first time I saw beaded cuffs, see
Mm.
something similar to what I'm wearing today,
Yeah.
I was completely smitten. I mean, it was at a Latvian crafts fair, and I had never seen anything like that before. And and I thought, so on the day I came home and I had to try it out. I started looking up how to make these, and
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, and so I made a lot of. They have a special name, these beaded cuffs. They have a special name in Latvian, and
Okay.
they are considered part of the national costume. Although I have doubts that it has been part of the national costume for very long, because I did a little bit of history research for beaded knitting, and it doesn't really appear until late 19th century all that
Right.
much,
Yeah.
at least in the pattern books.
Mm-hmm.
But the ethnic costumes, that they go much further back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
So
not
this is
sure.
a recent addition to that
I have a
costume. Yeah.
feeling that it
Yeah.
is, but it is a popular accessory in Latvia,
Okay.
and you can see women wearing it, not just with the with the with the ethnic.
Not just when they're in dressed up in their costume, but just as an
Yeah,
everyday, a
yeah,
little luxury. Yeah.
yeah. So I started making these the beaded cuffs, and it was like an illness, because you start playing with beads and you can't stop.
Okay.
You draw in the different possibilities of charts, and then you play with the colors, and yeah. So I made a lot of beaded cuffs for myself and friends, and then I thought that this is something original and not so much present on the Revelry database.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really see a lot of beaded cuffs. There are well, I think there's more patterns now, but
Mm-hmm.
not so many. And I thought that was a niche product,
Mm-hmm.
so I could start and publish a few patterns.
Nice.
And so this is how it all started with the cuffs.
Nice. So, I guess one of my other questions was if you incorporate traditional Latvian cultural elements in your design. So, in some ways, your whole push to become a designer was because you were taking that traditional element and making it your own, and then offering it to other people to work on your patterns. Yeah.
Um, I think it wasn't maybe subconsciously, but maybe also I was looking at Latvian, because Latvia is mostly famous for its mittens,
Okay. Yes, of course. Yeah.
stranded colorwork mittens,
Yeah.
and I know many knitters know the word, or the 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 technique called the Latvian braid,
Mm-hmm.
which is often seen on the stranded colorwork mittens that
Mm-hmm.
Latvians make. I actually have a book. If it doesn't immediately
Oh yeah.
remind you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the really varied, and I mean, this book has about 200 different patterns for mittens
Wow.
from
Yeah.
the 4 areas of Latvia. So some people can actually recognize uh, which area of Latvia the mitten comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know how that is possible, but they so there's a very rich tradition in there. But I've never actually been that excited with working with stranded colorwork or fair
Mm-hmm.
isle.
Mm-hmm.
But beaded knitting has become my thing,
Yeah.
and yeah, and the fact that any garter stitch project can have that embellishment, because it's not any particular. You don't need to learn a specific kind of stitch to do
Yeah.
it. So you can add beadwork to garter stitch patterns without making any changes to the pattern, really.
That makes sense.
So yeah, so that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
So another question that I had for you was about, I know that you do a lot of video tutorials to accompany your patterns, and I was wondering if you could talk about why you chose to do those and why it's important to you to kind of help the knitters that you're selling the patterns to make sure that they have that extra support. Or yeah, do you want to talk about the tutorials a little bit?
yeah. Um, because I think myself, I'm a very visual learner,
Mm-hmm.
and I always rely on the picture that I see more than the text.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm knitting from somebody else's pattern and there's no video support, or there's no pictures, I can always work it out, but it's nice
Yeah.
to actually see how things are done. And I also find that I prefer video tutorials to photo tutorials myself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for me, they're just easier to follow, to understand how things are done. So because it's my personal preference as a knitter, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's nice to offer that to other knitters.
Mm-hmm.
But at the other end, when I'm writing a pattern, it actually helps me to write up the pattern itself. I sometimes struggle to word things,
Mm-hmm.
but when I have the visual sequence I can rely on and watch again, it makes it easier to put things together in text as well.
Yeah, it kind of separates you from the process a little bit so that you can watch it and go, oh, what's happening here? And then put it
Yeah,
down on paper. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of, so sometimes I have the video before I have written up the pattern.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's the first step rather than the second step.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Mm.
Do you want to tell us about any of your favorite patterns that you've published, or if you have an idea of one that so the pattern that you're going to do for the club, it's still a secret, but it will be a good introduction to beaded knitting. So if somebody wants to take things to the next step and do a little bit something more complicated, or just something that you're really proud of, do you want to tell us a little bit about some of your other patterns?
Um, I have quite a few beaded patterns in my Ravelry store. Um, the As I said, I started off by publishing cuffs, which
Mm-hmm.
is the kind of the simplest project that you can make with beaded knitting. But I have a good selection of mitts and some mittens as well. I can show you
Mm-hmm.
a couple here. Okay, so these are
Oh, I like those.
mittens are probably more complicated than the project you're getting in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, they're totally worth a try
Yes.
because again, in garter stitch fabric is warm and thick, so you don't need a second layer.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also have an embellishment that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't restrain it. Yeah, so mittens is a good next step. These are called Sweet Rowan mittens,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a version of this design as mitts, fingerless mitts, but I don't have the sample on me
Okay. Yeah.
right now. And then I have a series called Fast Forward. Fast Forward. It's mittens and a hat and mitts. Okay, so
Oh,
I don't know if you can see
yeah.
it.
Oh, that's very fun. Yeah.
This design has another interesting technique in tarsia. So where you do two colors in one row,
Mm-hmm.
but also you have the beads pre-threaded before you start the project. And so it's actually it's not much more difficult than just if you had one color. But and because there's only two yarns, so you have two balls of yarn to juggle with. It's doable.
Yeah.
And the beads have already been threaded on the yarn when you start the project, so you don't need to worry about getting the beads in. You just pull one at a time as you knit, and so it's not quite complicated.
And that one is only one color of beads to manage, so you're managing two
that
colors
one is
of
actually, you can't really see here. This is two colors, but it's one color per yarn.
One color per yarn, yes, that's what I meant. So that you're juggling one yarn color and one bead color rather than multicolored beads on the same yarn. Like, because the other mitts you showed, you would be using two colors of beads threaded onto one yarn. Yeah.
Yes.
For this.
That's actually something to consider if you want more or less complexity. When you have beads of different colors, it's a little bit more complex because you have to be careful when you thread them. They have to come in a specific order. Whereas if you're working with a single color, order doesn't matter. You just string the number of beads required, and it makes it a little easier. But it's more fun to have beads of different colors.
For sure, yeah.
So with this was fast forward mittens, and in the series there's also a hat.
Oh, nice.
Well, it can have.
Oh yes, little pom pom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's also using intarsia in garter stitch, yeah?
Yeah. So it's I don't think somebody's already got the mitt.
Oh, you've given away the matching mitts, yes.
So the mitts are gone, I'm afraid.
That's okay.
So I would definitely recommend trying out the cuffs as well, even though it seems like I don't know. Some people ask me, when do you wear these? Is this a jewelry thing, or is it an everyday accessory? It depends. I mean, some people wear them indoors, and some people wear just one as a bracelet. I don't know. Okay. I always wear two.
Yeah.
They're good as layering, and they're good for like in between seasons, for spring. It's cold summer. I don't know.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But they're really cool, a cool accessory to have and to give.
I feel like it's like kind of like putting some jewelry, but it's a little bit easier than like figuring out. You just like pull it on, and it's warm. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. If people are interested in looking up your patterns, where should they go? Where can we find your patterns online?
At the moment, all of my patterns are available on Ravelry, and some of my patterns are available on Payhip.
Okay.
So
we'll put links, for the Ravelry and Payhip, where to find your patterns in the notes for the video. Well, thank you again so much for joining us. It's been really fun to get to know you a little bit and hear about where your inspiration comes from.
Thank you, Debbie. It was really great to talk to you. And I hope our listeners enjoy working from the surprise box.
Yes, I'm sure they will.